Welcome to the Explainer. Imagine this. You're setting up your dream DIY solar project. You buy perfectly good, high-quality panels and a shiny new MPPT charge controller. You wire the whole shebang up, flip the switch, and poof! You literally just destroyed hundreds of dollars of equipment in a fraction of a second. It's an incredibly high-stakes problem for off-grid builders and DIY enthusiasts. And today, we're going to make absolutely sure it never happens to you.
So, I gotta ask you, what actually destroys perfectly good MPPT controllers? Most people just assume they pushed way too much wattage into the system, right? Well, here is the secret we're unpacking today. The silent killer of solar setups is almost always voltage, not wattage.
Okay, let's dive into this. Our roadmap covers 1. The expensive solar mistake. 2. The big three numbers. 3. Series versus parallel wiring. 4. Hidden solar system risks. And 5. The proper matching process.
Section 1. The expensive solar mistake. There's this super pervasive myth in the solar community that panel wattage is literally the only number that matters when you're matching components. It's like, hey, if I have a 1,000-watt controller, I just buy 1,000 watts of panels, right? Wrong. The truth is, if you slightly exceed the wattage limits of an MPPT controller, it usually just results in this harmless process called clipping. Basically, the controller just caps the peak output during maximum sunlight. No big deal. But if you exceed the other electrical limits, you aren't just losing a little efficiency, you will instantly burn out the input stage of the controller, and boom, you're looking at a very expensive replacement.
Section 2. The big three numbers.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the direct contrast between what the panel provides and what the controller can safely digest. On the panel side, you've got your raw datasheet numbers, right? Voc, ISC, and wattage. But on the controller side, you're dealing with strict, unbreakable limits: maximum PV volts, maximum PV current, and maximum charging current. Let's break down exactly what those panel numbers actually mean. First up is VOC, or open circuit voltage. Simply put, this is the absolute highest voltage a solar panel can produce when it's just sitting out in the sunlight with no load connected. And here is why this is absolutely crucial to understand. If you connect two 50-volt panels in series, their voltages stack. They literally add up. So together, they're going to produce 100 volts. Next, we have ISC, which stands for short circuit current. This represents the maximum current a panel can push out under ideal conditions. And the math here works kind of differently. For example, if you connect three 11-amp panels in parallel, they combine to produce 33 amps of short circuit current.
Section 3. Series versus parallel wiring.
If you remember absolutely nothing else from this explainer, remember this golden rule of solar wiring. In a series connection, the voltage increases, but the current stays exactly the same. In a parallel connection, the current increases, but the voltage stays the same. It's a fundamental mechanical difference, and it dictates how you design your entire array.
And because voltage increases in series, you inevitably run headfirst into what we call the speed limit. Your MPPT controller's maximum PV voltage rating? Yeah, that is not a friendly suggestion. It's an absolute unbreakable limit. Think about it. If your controller is rated for 145 volts and you wire enough panels in series to hit 150 volts, you are going to permanently destroy that controller. Seriously, never exceed it. We also need to clear up another major point of confusion. A lot of people incorrectly assume that the raw panel current coming down from the roof directly equals the battery charging current going into the batteries. Actually, scratch that. It never equals that. Your MPPT controller acts like a transformer. It converts the excess panel voltage into the precise charging current that your specific battery bank needs to charge up safely. So the crucial point here is understanding exactly how to calculate that charging current. Let's imagine you've got a solar array made up of four 400-watt panels that totals 1,600 watts of raw solar power coming in.
To figure out the actual output, you take that 1,600-watt array and divide it by your battery voltage. Let's just say we're using a 24-volt battery. 1,600 divided by 24 gives you roughly 66 amps of battery charging current. So what does this mean? It means you absolutely must ensure your MPPT controller is rated to safely deliver at least 66 amps on its output side.
Section 4. Hidden solar system risks. Now, one of the most surprising dangers out there is something called the cold weather anomaly. Did you know that a solar panel's voltage actually rises as the temperature drops? It's wild, but it's true. A solar array that measures perfectly safe within your controller's limits during a hot summer day can literally destroy itself on a freezing cold winter morning because of massive voltage spikes. Let's rapid fire through some of these specific risk points.
First, you've got excess Voc from those cold weather spikes we just talked about. Second, excess PV current from wiring way too many parallel strings, which causes severe overheating. Third, the danger of assuming watts equals charging current, which almost always leads to buying an undersized controller. And critically, you have the massive risk of omitting string fuses on multiple parallel strings. If you don't fuse multiple parallel strings properly, they can actually feed fault current back into one another, leading to melted wiring and some really severe fire hazards. Not something you want to mess with.
Section 5. The proper matching process. Let's move to the solution and see how this all builds into a foolproof checklist to verify your system is safe. Step 1. Find your panel's VOC. Step 2. Add up the VOC for any panels wired in series. Step 3. Verify that the total series VOC stays well below the MPPT maximum PV voltage. Step 4. Find your panel's ISC. And Step 5. Add up the ISC for any parallel strings. We're simply taking the raw input and checking against the controller's absolute limits.
Finishing up the procedure here. Step 6. Verify those current limits aren't exceeded. Step 7. Add up the total array wattage. Step 8. Calculate your expected battery charging current by dividing the total wattage by your battery voltage. Step 9. Confirm your MPPT controller's charging rating is actually sufficient. And Step 10. Always leave a safety margin for winter temperature drops and future expansion. And finally, please remember, solar panels produce electricity anytime they're exposed to sunlight. You gotta treat DC voltage with the exact same respect and caution you give to AC mains power.
Well, we've covered the critical math that keeps your system running safely. So I want to leave you with this. What is the very first specification you check before buying an MPPT controller? Is it voltage, current, or wattage? Take a moment to think about your own setup. And hey, if you've ever dealt with system clipping or unexpected failures, keep these lessons in mind. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this helps you build a smarter, safer solar system.